Woo! And then just like that, it's another Sunday morning, afternoon, or later in the day, depending on where you're joining us from. We are the Brunch Busters. I'm Bobby Munson, that man right beside me, Chris Parrish, with another episode of Bustin' Out. Parrish, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm all pumped up and feeling good because I think I said this week that I would be prepared to hang up my boots and call it an end if a certain somebody did not win a certain championship last night, which I'm sure we'll be talking heavily about very shortly.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan was like, you know what? He can't hang up his boots, so I have to make a call. And what a call he made. And if, by the way, you follow me on Twitter at Chris Parrish, you would have seen that I correctly predicted a show that on a previous platform would have said I don't watch. And I properly predicted the finale to Full Gear.
Awesome. That is
I don't
really
want to
awesome.
brag,
I did.
but I mean, I did it.
No, you should brag. Yeah, that's what this platform's for. Do it. Brag.
Hey, it's why I was always the prediction champion over there, right? You know, this is what I do.
They had to find another way to get.
I made Roman Reigns. Yeah, I made Roman Reigns' reign look kind of sheepish in comparison to that one that I had over there. So, but that's not here, but over there. So let's just get on to something more important, and that is busting out. Buster's 11. Yeah, that's right. You know, it was really hard finding out a pun for 11 until I saw Ocean's 11. And I was like, ooh, Buster's 11.
Buster's 11. I like it. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
And if anybody joining us here today has an idea for a 12th name, what's episode 12 going to be called? Let us know. Give us some ideas. We want you to get in on the conversation. It's what I'm trying to allude to. So come on, get talking.
Well, yeah. It'd be nice. Speaking of getting talking, you know what got me talking on Friday night?
What's that?
Kevin Owens coming back and being revealed as the fifth man to the War Games match.
So we have got the build. We've got it all set. 5v5 War Games matchup. And yeah, KO came out to quite the pop. Quite the entrance for him on the SmackDown side. And I think the nicest thing of this was that beautiful little stare down with Sami Zayn. Neither man seemed like they wanted to go on the attack of the other, although they are on opposing sides. But it did leave a distraction enough for Roman Reigns to get a measure of revenge on Kevin Owens. But it wouldn't last very long because, Kevin Owens did get the upper hand, and the Brutes, along with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens, looked strong at the end of SmackDown on Friday night.
Yeah, and what was really cool is they actually did give you a stare down between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and neither one laid a hand on each other, which I thought was very important with this. And this kind of allowed Roman Reigns to get a cheap Superman punch on Kevin Owens before, succumbing to a KO stunner, we'll say. But very interesting to note that they are not getting physically involved between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, almost like they're reluctant now, which is really hilarious given the fact that their physicality kind of made their history what it was. But now we're seeing more of, an actual emotional friendship side to where they don't want to hurt each other, or they're really confused of whether or not they should. So I like the fact that they're going into that other realm of the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn story. Maybe they're setting something up long term.
Well, and again, what are we going to see within the War Games? Because those two could essentially be the two guys that start War Games off. And are we going to sit there for 5 minutes while they sip tea? I really don't think so. These guys are going to fight each other, and they are going to go to war. And who knows each other better than Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, two lifelong best friends that, you know, have already gone to war several times within the aspects of WWE, and now are going to be locked inside that war chamber. And Sami is going to want to prove to the rest of the bloodline that he is fully on their side, and he cannot hold back when it comes to his best friend Kevin Owens.
Well, yeah, and it's definitely going to create that burning question of what relationship does Sami Zayn covet more, the one that he has with the tribal chief or the one he has with Kevin Owens. So it's a very interesting dynamic that they're presenting itself in here. And I think once we see Survivor Series unfold, we might get the answer to that question. And I think that's a very interesting dynamic that they have going into the Survivor Series War Games.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting War Games. I think that there's a lot of different things that are going to unfold within it. It also leaves us to believe that there is that possibility, and many people have spoken about it, that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could rekindle said friendship within WWE. If they were to start working together in tandem, become a tag team, they could end up being a very unstoppable force within the tag team division should they find themselves united on the same side once again.
Yeah, and it's not even that much like long from the last time these two were in a ring together. It was Kevin Owens questioning Sami Zayn's involvement with the Bloodline. So it's very interesting to note that there wasn't animosity there. There was more questioning, and it was more Kevin Owens trying to allure Sami Zayn away from the Bloodline a little bit. So there is that I care for you mentality there still. Which just shows you that, you know, this could very well be the dynamic that they want to move to going forward. And I think that's just refreshing. I think a lot of people want to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come back together, especially now that they are in their own rights, absolutely killing it on their own. Kevin Owens is now looked at as one of the top baby faces in the company, as you can hear very evidently on Friday night at SmackDown when he came and made his return. But then also Sami Zayn and his newfound just absolutely just dynamic level that he has risen to. And just as much as you can say the Bloodline has made Sami Zayn a bigger star, Sami Zayn's also made Bloodline probably one of the best factions going in wrestling today based on his entertainment qualities.
Well, he gave it a different dynamic is what it came down to. He brought something, you know, it had been going on for a while. We already had the Bloodline in the way that it was, and Sami added this new kind of wrench in the plan, something to really jazz it up and take it a different direction. And it became this whole narrative of, when is Sami going to get turned on? You know, is Sami going to end up doing that? Now I start to wonder, is Sami necessarily going to get turned on by the Bloodline? Or within War Games, could we see Sami show that he isn't quite willing to go to that place to go and attack his former best friend, Kevin Owens? And that kind of animosity created, which could even be something that costs the Bloodline the match itself, could play into that being the reason that the Bloodline banish Sami Zayn and disconnect from him completely.
Yeah, and these are all just very big questions to ask because we don't know. And what's the fun part is we get to kind of being questioned until that Survivor Series comes, because there is no guarantee that we'll get answers to these questions by then. But what we will see is that amazing story continuing that build. And I think this is exactly what is going correctly in WWE now, is just that long-term storytelling. And I think that's the one thing that's been missing from WWE for a while now, but Triple H has been bringing that back, and it's really showing a lot of promise for the future. And we can even say, like, another perfect example, and this could be a great transition, is also the one of the returning of Bray Wyatt and everything he's doing since. And now we've seen the first person to get physical with Bray Wyatt, and that is L.A. Knight. And I know you're very impressed with not only the way they've been doing this, but you're actually, I think, shocked of how well you are now wanting to see LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, and again, it wasn't because it's not so much that I have anything against either guy, too. Like it's just one of these ones that I didn't drum up in my head, LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt upon Bray Wyatt's return. But the way it's been handled has been absolutely perfect. It's given LA Knight that run as a heel. It's cemented him as a heel because they know going up against Bray Wyatt, you're only going to have a guy completely booed out of the arenas because the fans have connected so well with Bray. But this piece from Friday night took it to a brand new level with Bray getting in there and saying, look, man, I apologize. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done what I did. I just wanted to apologize to you. And he does this, and LA Knight comes out, slaps Bray Wyatt across the face. And that's when it started to get even that much better, because instead of Bray Wyatt just immediately attacking and showing a vicious side, he goes to LA Knight. He goes, okay, I deserve that. We're even now. He said, and he extends his hand and says, the next move you make will determine the course of your career moving forward. And when LA Knight turns around, slaps Bray Wyatt a second time, you could just see the darkness building within Bray with the eyes that he was given to LA Knight. And LA Knight said, that's the hat I wear. That's a 2-for-1. I've been waiting to do that all damn week. LA Knight's been playing this out absolutely beautifully. Bray Wyatt doing his thing has worked tremendously as well, too. This is going to pay off very well for both parties.
Yeah, and even just talking about Bray Wyatt right now, how everyone just expects him to be launched into the title picture right away. I don't think that's the proper play with Bray Wyatt, because right away you want it to be an organic rise. You don't want it to be a straight shot, because in the case they're not ready to take the titles off Roman Reigns, you do not want to see Bray Wyatt eat a loss right away, or one of those screwy finishes that, we've been seen in the past with WWE. What you want to see is that nice climb back up. And what's great about the feud with LA Knight is that he could have that feud with somebody who the fans are wanting to see more of. So this is fresh for a lot of people, but at that same time, it makes you get more invested in the evolution of Bray Wyatt, going from Bray Wyatt, the human, to this new monster that he's going to become, instead of just being rushed into one form. And I think that's an amazing job done by the creative there. But also, we then go over to LA Knight, and this is somebody who has now finally completely transitioned back to a heel, even though a lot of people were on his side when he moved back towards LA Knight from Max Dupree. There's still a little people quite uncertain whether or not they should boo or cheer him. But now that he's going up against somebody that universally is loved in Bray Wyatt, there's only one thing to do with LA Knight, and that is now to boo him. And he's getting the rub of working one of the top names in WWE. So it doesn't matter if he wins. He gets that rub of being able to hang with one of the top guys. And right away, you're going to be looking at LA Knight as a bigger fish in the sea, instead of being one of those smaller pods in the pond.
Yeah, and match-wise, I would love to see this one start off where LA Knight is taking advantage of a returning Bray Wyatt, kind of taking advantage of the fact that he hasn't been in a squared circle for, what is a year and a half, pushing 2 years now, and just absolutely use his heel tactics to keep Bray down, keep Bray trying to, fight back. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in that match, I hope there's this connect where all of a sudden all the pain, all the beatdowns kind of connect with Bray and make him almost go to that dark place. That's when you see that transformation within the actual match itself, and then just have him viciously get back on the return and destroy LA Knight from there. That's how he goes into this vicious cycle, ends up taking control and winning the matchup. I think then you would establish LA Knight as somebody who's vicious enough to go to any depth to win a match, but then also establish the fact that when you push this version of Bray Wyatt quite enough, he goes to a different place and comes out, and that's when he starts to get really scary.
Yeah, and speaking of different places, we are broadcasting this on 3 different platforms, different places as you will. And for anybody who's here on my Twitch at the Chris Parrish, I just want to say thank you a lot. And please, if you can, not only follow myself as I create my path onto Twitch, but also the Our Local Establishment. And if you have a chance, go to YouTube and check out Bobby's page as well, as we are on all three. So anybody who's on Bobby Munson's YouTube or the Our Local Establishment or my Twitch, we just want to say thank you for your continuous support. And please, if you can, let everyone know that we're live. Let everybody know, what we're about, and if you enjoy your experience. And if you are enjoying it, let us know in the chat. We'd very much appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. And get your questions in. We love talking about things. And, before we talk about more wrestling things, what we should do is talk about how we can help to grow this channel. And that's through sponsorship. And one of those sponsors that we have been so highly fond of is Rogue Energy. As you see, Rogue Affiliate down below and the QR just in the corner of your screen. And now the ticker on the screen as well, too. Follow along to rogueenergy.com using the promo code OLEPODS. Rogue Energy are an alternative to the everyday energy drink that you can find inside the stores. If you're looking to get into better health and you still want to be able to have an energy drink that tastes good, makes you have clarity, makes you have energy, then Rogue Energy is the right choice for you. They're a low calorie, zero sugar, vegan friendly alternative to the everyday average energy drink out there. And I know Mr. Chris Parrish has got some words he can say all about our friends at Rogue Energy.
Yeah, I just got my shipment of Rogue Energy in, and I've been absolutely impressed so far. I have a nice hat that is upstairs because it's kind of a formal one, but I also got this amazing shaker with a sample. I got the sample pack, and let me tell you something. I've been enjoying the flavors so far. I got the Rocket Pop going on right now, and I can understand why this is their top seller. It is absolutely fantastic in a lot of ways, but the one thing that I also want to let everyone else know is that if you use that code or promo code OLE pods, you do save 10%. And with my order, I saved nearly $5. And you know what I could spend with that? More. I can go back and spend a little bit more if I wanted to. I'm saving that money and I'm able to maybe invest into another flavor if I like a tub of something else. And maybe I want to use that $5 for something else. Maybe I want to use it for a subscription to Twitch like you guys can as well, and that would help us go a long way as well. But what the point is, though, is that if you order these, you won't be upset with your order because the flavors are just so good. Like when I'm having this Rocket Pop, it tastes a lot like the popsicle, and I'm absolutely amazed with how identical the tastes are. So if you go to OLE Pods, make sure that you're doing everything you can to get that right flavor that you want. Try the new ones out. And if you're in the United States watching this, you know that OLE really likes you to keep your energy. And Rogue Energy is now serving energy cans in the United States. So make sure you're testing those out. I would love to try them out as well. So hopefully one of these days it's going to be Canada friendly and bring it out up north. But you know what? Try those out and let us know how it is, because there's no better way to go rogue than right now.
Speaking of the U.S., those lucky friends of ours down in the U.S. get to have Turkey Day this Thursday. It's Thanksgiving in the United States. And I'm pretty pumped, too, because we're going to be doing MLW's traditional Fusion on Thanksgiving episode on Thursday night on Fusion there with myself and Pop Spokes. And we kind of made an open invitation for anybody that wants to join, come celebrate Thanksgiving, even though some of us are Canadian. Let's just party on Thursday night. So if you want to join in on the chat, or even if anyone wants to join us on screen to talk a little MLW and have some fun, have a beer, have a bit of turkey, yeah, Thursday night is an open forum.
Yeah. And we don't believe in restrictions here. So if you want to have a second drink, go right ahead.
That's right. Yeah. Just do it responsibly and don't drive afterwards.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Well, speaking of driving, I mean, you can't drive without proper gears. And just last night we saw Full Gear from AEW, and that was an amazing show. And if you haven't heard by now, you should know. MJF is the new AEW World Champion. And as I said earlier, I predicted it. And one of the main reasons why, William Regal stabbed Jon Moxley in the back and handed well, more or less slid brass knuckles to MJF to use on Jon Moxley to defeat him and become champion. But what I find is absolutely amazing is that
found another way to use it.
Breaking news, and the breaking news is there was no fighting at the press conference this week. Oh my God. All champions are going to be champions at the next episode of Dynamite. Apparently the Elite were on their best behavior. MJF didn't eat muffins, and he didn't get mad at the Elite. It is amazing. Breaking news that AEW is not in shambles after their last pay-per-view.
But unfortunately,
yes,
Mindy's Bakery did not quite hit the sales levels they were expecting to this month.
Yeah. Mindy's Bakery. Got to step it up.
Love your muffins.
Maybe they should watch a little Seinfeld and just sell the muffin tops.
Just the tops.
Just the tops. Nobody eats the bottoms.
Just the tip of the muffin.
But yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier about MJF winning because, you had made that promise that if he did not win the title, you were hanging them up. Tony Khan made that decision because he clearly is a fan of our local establishments, understood the importance of the brunch busters staying together, the importance of bussing out, becoming and just remaining a staple here. Did not want you to hang him up. MJF finally AEW champion. Just how satisfied are you now?
Well, first, I'm just going to let everyone behind the curtain for a minute. I would have hung it up as Bobby Munson, but I would have come back in some other way, shape, or form anyway, because I'm not giving up on this shit. But with that being said, I am totally excited, and congratulations to the new AEW champion, one MJF, who just absolutely killed it. A little bit.
He wasn't even the. No, continue.
I was just going to say that the match, I enjoyed it. It was a pretty solid world title matchup. It seemed like they definitely kept the audience retention, considering how long the pay-per-view was in general. But these two went out there. They had that match. They had the turn on, like you mentioned, from William Regal with the brass knucks and everything like that. So we still get that devilish MJF character. That was one of the things that worried me because I know everybody's getting behind him. Everybody's starting to cheer him. But I think heel MJF just works a little better than a babyface MJF. Although up until that point, he was working a very babyface style, and it seemed to still be working because MJF is a fantastic worker in every aspect.
Yeah, and he looking like $1 million. Now that he had that time off, you can tell that he wasn't just eating at Mandy's Bakery. He was going to the gym and, pumping that iron. And, it definitely shows. He not only looks like a world champion, but now, as of last night, he officially is a world champion. His very first championship in AEW, by the way. And, boy, did not absolutely just, I think, was something everybody wanted to see. But the fact that it actually happened is just amazing. The next episode of Dynamite now is just going to be off the charts because does Jon Moxley ask for a rematch? Does he have somebody else in play? Do we see something fresh in the world title scene? Who's to say? But it just makes Dynamite just that much more must watch now because it's now the first Dynamite where MJF is your heavyweight champion. So talk about changing the game. MJF changed the game last night while he won that championship. But that's the only championship that actually changed hands. We actually saw 2 other titles change hands, and that was Samoa Joe becoming the new TNT champion, and we saw Jamie Hayter becoming the new interim women's champion, where I know you and I both do not like the term interim. But maybe one day Tony Khan is going to make that right, as he has alluded that maybe it will be time eventually if Thunder Rosa is to be out a little bit longer, that he might have to actually strip her of that championship, which you and I will say, just fucking do it now.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, if somebody is unable to compete, it doesn't change anything because again, if Thunder Rosa, if and when she comes back to the company, she's already in line to be a person that can claim a championship matchup because she never officially lost it. I don't know why they can't get this portion of the booking correct. Don't need interim champions, just need to take the title off of the current champion, put it on somebody else, and then involve the said former champion that had it stripped from them in the title picture upon returning. It's an age-old way of doing it, and by doing the interim ones, you're not changing anything other than having double champions, which kind of seems bullshit to me in a sense. So it doesn't really change. You're still doing essentially the same damn thing, only you're throwing more belts out there that just aren't required.
Yeah, and speaking of championships, man, does that TNT title look pretty small.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. As much as I was happy to see him win the title in a great way of not actually having Wardlow get pinned, so keeping Wardlow staying strong. And you're now saving that eventual match between Samoa Joe and Wardlow. What was just funny to see a championship look small on Samoa Joe because, man, like I didn't get that impression on Wardlow, but with Samoa Joe, it just caught me off guard. But at the same time, I'm very curious to see Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for that TNT title moving forward.
I'm going to have to take a quick break. I'm having audio issues. Just I'll bear with me. I'll be right back.
Yep. And this is a great time for the chat. If you want to get any questions, any comments in, that would be the great time because I don't need to be talking to myself. I don't think anybody wants to see that. But let me know what you guys thought of Full Gear last night if you're able to see it. Because I thought it was an absolute great pay-per-view. Personally, I would like to see maybe them not do so many matches in a night. But again, if you're able to keep the fans in, who's to say it's a bad formula? But again, sometimes it's just, a little too much for, me, I guess. But I mean, I'm also old. But also, I thought it was really cool to see Jamie Hayter finally become the women's champion in that thing. It was also nice to see Saraya finally get back in the ring as she defeated Britt Baker with 2 of the Rampage maneuvers, which I believe, you're going to get a new name for that moving forward. I know on her Twitter, I refer to, hey, why don't you call the page turner the Nightmare, and a nod to your brother, who's Zach Zodiac, called the Rampage the Zodiac sign. Hopefully she uses those. So if you hear those terms, just know that it was me that put them up. Right. Bobby, how's your audio?
Yeah, good. It was really strange, actually, while you were talking just before I checked out there. It was starting to come through kind of almost crackly, and it would mute every once in a while. So I was only catching bits and pieces of what you were saying, but I seem to have got the connection going again. I can finally hear it. It's, again, older system. It's time for an upgrade sometime soon so that I can be running smoother than ever here on Bustin' Out moving forward.
Well, I mean, we just got to keep with the latest technology. I mean, it just shows the importance of how much this world changes. Just like the scene of professional wrestling, everything is changing. It almost seems like a change is too quick. But hey, adapt or perish. That's evolution.
Nice touch. I like it.
Had to.
But the more things change, sometimes the more they stay the same. And that kind of brings up the topic. Steve Austin is being talked about for an in-ring return to the WWE once again. And I'm kind of curious to get your thoughts on Steve Austin. I think, after what we saw at WrestleMania, my personal thought on it is if you're going to use him in that kind of capacity for, a big match on something such as a WrestleMania, I think it's great. And I think that it'll help to establish more views from outside of the niche market of pro wrestling fans, which again helps those people who haven't been seen quite as much by people who don't consistently watch. Maybe they'll catch somebody on that show that they like. I know a lot of people last year got to experience Sami Zayn for the very first time, and I think that has helped him in many, many ways, and it could do the same for some other people on the card this year.
Yeah, and if we just take a step back to the last WrestleMania and fast forward to now, we saw Stone Cold Steve Austin going up against Kevin Owens. And now Kevin Owens is one of the top baby faces of the company, and he got a modern day Stone Cold pop on SmackDown. So it just shows you what that rub could do for someone if it's done correctly. And by no means did anybody have a negative word to say about Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens on night one of WrestleMania. It was fantastic in exactly the capacity it needed to be. And you kind of alluded to before we went on live, like how crazy it is for Triple H's very first WrestleMania that if they were able to pull out The Rock versus Roman Reigns and they could do Stone Cold versus somebody, you're still getting in today's day and age Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. Talk about star power. Talk about WrestleMania being in Hollywood. Yeah. Just imagine if for the first time ever we got Stone Cold versus John Cena, or maybe we had, Theory going up against John Cena, and we got Stone Cold going up against maybe Seth Rollins, or maybe AJ Styles, or Gunther. The Finn Balor. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to see Stone Cold die.
Yeah, but again, Gunther might work stiff, but it's not like he works dangerous that would affect Stone Cold's neck in any way or anything like that too. So
no, but I just don't preferably. I would actually much rather see John Cena against Gunther. I just think that's a better match for Gunther. And
true, yeah,
more or less. I think Gunther could very well be in a bigger match just on his own merit. I don't think he needs. Right now, I don't think he needs a name like that to, become a bit. It won't hurt. But I'm looking at maybe another talent, like maybe Elias versus Stone Cold, or maybe we see, Chet. Somebody along that line. Maybe we even see somebody coming out in NXT, maybe like a Carmelo Hayes up against a Stone Cold or somebody like that. Just thinking a little bit outside of the box, but I'm sure there are plenty of names we could come up with as great options, but just the fact that we could possibly see Stone Cold again at WrestleMania help give that rub to somebody else like he did for Kevin Owens, I think it's a great thing. And who's going to argue one match a year with Stone Cold instead of 2-3 matches a year with Goldberg?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we know who we'd rather see if we had to.
Let's cut the Goldberg crap and start getting more Steve Austin on screen for those big matches. Also, I think it's great.
I'll give you one match that Gunther probably would be a lot better for. That is Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I was, that thought came into my mind just now because I was about to say you still got star power and guys like Brock Lesnar there, and all of a sudden I'm like, ding, there you go, Munson. I'm like, Gunther and Brock Lesnar would be a very interesting one to go with as well too. Even you start to add in a Bobby Lashley Gunther thing down the road sometime too. There's a lot of great things, and even talk about rumors like you're talking about Bronson Reed. I always want to call him Jonah Rex, but there's rumor he could be returning to the WWE too, and there's a guy that can throw down with the best of them also.
Yeah, and the rumors coming down that Chelsea Green is on her way back or potentially on her way back to WWE. And if you're talking Chelsea Green, it shouldn't be far removed that we could be talking about a return to WWE for the artist formerly known as Zack Ryder, now known as Matt Cardona. Just how insane could it be where we're seeing a lot of the same people from 5 years ago, but they're now in a different light. They're in a different scene now. You saw how much it helped guys like Drew McIntyre leave WWE, make a name, and come back. We've seen how much it's changed Cody Rhodes. Just imagine if we're seeing guys like Matt Cardona back, Bronson Reed, and we haven't even talked about the potential that maybe Nick Aldis could even be coming to WWE.
Yeah,
Not saying that that's a for sure thing, but it's very much in the realm. And if this is the case, this makes the Royal Rumble in January that much more amazing and a must-see, because that's just absolutely star-studded there. So couldn't imagine what WrestleMania in Hollywood could be like. And this is on top of the rumor being that WWE is going to want more celebrity involvement in this upcoming WrestleMania because it's in Hollywood.
And Triple H has got a lot of cool toys to play with when it comes to booking WrestleMania this year. Just so many different ways that he could go, so many different things. I mean, you're not even touching on the tag division just yet, like what he can do there with how many different tag teams he's got. A women's division that is by far none like the best women's division in professional wrestling today, with especially all the returning names that he's bringing back to the women's division and all the ones that he can use going forward. He has got a plethora of great talent that he can build one of the best looking WrestleMania cards on just one night alone, let alone the fact that he could actually double up and pull off a spectacular 2-night full weekend WrestleMania show.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on the fact that, we could be seeing a return for either Naomi or Sasha Banks, potentially both. But it's also out there in the realm that, Triple H may even be a favorite of bringing back 2 other females, and that is the Iconics. Nobody really talks about that, as Cassie Lee is, currently having a child or on the way of having a child. But it's not unbelievable to think that we could see the Iconics back in the WWE one day, especially now with the resurgence of the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. So who's to say that, those titles might not be getting some serious representation at WrestleMania?
Well, exactly. And that would be fantastic to see them back. That they thrived under the guidance of Triple H when they were in NXT. It's how they got so over and connected with the fan base in the first place, was with that guidance. So them returning to the WWE fold with Triple H at the helm, I think would be very well suited to them. And I think nobody would be disagreeing with a return of the Iconics in the WWE, especially if they're going to be used right. And again, if they were to become women's tag team champions and you gave them a sensational run with those belts, I think it would finally establish those belts to be taken more seriously. Because right now, the comment that's always heard is about the women's tag belts are always hot potatoes, or just not featured at all. And I'm sure it's something that Triple H has probably listened to, he's heard, and I think he's going to want to do something different with it once he knows for sure what his plans are with the women's tag division.
Yeah, and just also pointing out, like, the fact that there is still so much unknown and more question marks just leaves you to imagine what WWE can still be under the helm of Triple H, or maybe we should say under the helmsley of Triple H.
I like it. Nice touch.
Had to. Thank you. But also, let's also not be shied away. I know we were talking a little bit WWE. We talked a little bit about AEW. Impact Wrestling also just had a pay-per-view.
They sure
where we
did.
saw Josh Alexander retain his title against Frankie Kazarian, which absolutely was an amazing match. If you haven't checked it out, do so. I know that, our good friends of Cody Defoe and the Natural Asher Bizarro on Making an Impact that you'll see this week on Thursday, right after you and Papa Smokes do your thing, they'll probably be talking a little bit more about it. But we don't talk enough Impact here on Bustin' Out, and I do want to kind of touch on it a little bit because that show was very good. As we also saw, Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich will revive their recent rivalry as they square out in the last women's standing match. That match was absolutely fantastic as well, as Jordan Grace got the pinfall or got the win against Masha. But we also saw guys like Heath and Rhino, beat Mark Cardona and Brian Myers for the tag team titles. Like, that was, to think we're seeing Rhino and Heath Slater up against, the artist formerly known as Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder for another company's tag team titles. It's just mind-blowing to me, but also absolutely awesome, because talk about 4 guys who are still cutting their teeth and doing great jobs outside of WWE. These are 4 guys that are truly amazing. And I know I'm excited because there's a potential that I'm going to be working on a show with Heath Slater in the new year. So, I'm looking forward to that. But did you have a chance to kind of go back and watch any of the Impact, or what are your thoughts already about just hearing the recent pay-per-view on Overdrive, I believe it was called?
Now, first of all, Impact Wrestling doesn't get enough credit for what they, especially for what they've done in the last couple of years. Now, I talk a lot of shit about pandemic era wrestling, but there were some that did some decent things. And one of those companies is Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling had consistently good pay-per-view showings and good matchups during the pandemic time, and they've continued to do so ever since. They've continued to build cards that people give a shit about. They continue to put on matches that people give a shit about, and their title scenes in all aspects have been exciting. And that's the great thing. And at Josh Alexander, there is not a match I try to miss of his, especially on pay-per-view levels, because he's fantastic. This guy can work, and he works a style that I really, really enjoy, that I'm a fan of. And that match was great. I loved every bit of it. I don't always catch it week to week, but again, like you said, even when I don't catch it week to week, I do love to tune into making an impact, because if anybody can help fill in the gaps of the stuff I missed, it's definitely Cody and Astrid. They do a fantastic job over there of filling out everything else in. And I think the more I watch that show, the more I begin to really have an appreciation for some Mr. Joe Henry.
Yeah, can't argue his rise as a professional wrestler, and you can only follow our good friend Cody Defoe, who also appreciates the rise of one Joe Hendry. And yeah, absolutely amazing. We also saw Trey Miguel win the X Division Championship this weekend, which is absolutely amazing. He has been just on fire as of late, so congratulations to him. But yeah, like, it's just a plethora of great professional wrestling, whether we're talking AEW, whether or not we're talking AEW, whether or not we're talking Impact Wrestling, and then you're, talking some MLW every now and then. And, like, we just got it all over the boards, and that's just what we get to watch on, screen. There's all that beautiful independence that you get to watch too, if you're whatever your local market has. So pretty spoiled we are when it comes to the professional wrestling market.
You bet. And speaking of our local market, our local establishment has got a whole bunch of cool shit coming your way this week. And I'm going to play a short video so you guys can check out what we got going down this week at OLE Podcasts.
To me, like a voice inside my head. It's like a fight that I cannot win. I'm falling, frustrated, intoxicated. I know I'm losing myself. I can't take it anymore. But I'm not done. I'm not done. I won't give up until the end. But I won't fall. I'll stand away.
And that's what we got coming up on OLE Podcasts, various platforms. Make sure to follow us on all social media and all of our friends that are contributing shows here. A lot of great stuff going on this week. Again, we got double whammies tomorrow night and also on Tuesday night. And I'm sure even from that list, there's going to be some other things that pop up throughout the week. As again, like even Friday night, I did a random bravado that Parrish bailed me out of because the game I was trying to play wasn't quite working. So we ended up having some fun, just shooting the shit. And yeah, it was a good time considering how late we were on and how many people were joining along, getting in on the conversation as well too.
Well, I saw a busting brother in need, and I'm like, you know what, just gotta help him out. So I was up. I was really popping and marking out for the game you were playing, but at the same time, I was maybe a little bit more glitching at the opportunity to join you a little bit more as your game was glitching a little too much.
But it was, yeah, it's a good time as always. As you know, I mean, we always have fun on this channel and on the various different platforms that we do, and a lot of great stuff that we got coming up for you guys as we move along. But yeah, that what else has happened in the world of professional wrestling there, Parrish? So we could talk about what do you got coming up? Any matches booked for the foreseeable future?
Uh, Not that I know of.
Ooh.
I know that there is a show next Friday locally in Edmonton here, the Love Pro Wrestling 10. But yeah, just stay attached to the Twitter that is still around, apparently. Who would have thought that it didn't go away? Holy, I've never seen
It
a
still
bigger work
works.
than maybe the Y2K Millennium Bug. Jesus, people, take a hint. Things aren't just going to magically disappear. All right. They're not Lucky Charms. All right. But yeah, no. Yeah, come go check out your social media. Find out if what match I'll be in on Friday. If there's a match I'm involved in, who's to say? Who's to know? I know I don't. But that's not the point. Then also you can see me on Real Canadian Wrestling on December 10th, where I face
Nice.
one lumberjack Larry in one-on-ones. I called his ass out after I defeated another friend of the streaming world and Rick Jules as put him down. Where I actually forgot my gear. Let's actually say that. I will go out and on the record, I did the dumb thing. I packed everything but my trunks. So I beat him in sweatpants. So so comfortable. But yes, not as comfortable as I am in my silky spandex.
Well, it's always good to be comfortable while kicking the crap out of somebody.
Yeah, I did get the fans to chant asshole for him, and that was pretty funny.
Well, look, we got Ed stopping in a bunch of errands today. That's all right. But we're just glad you stopped in, Ed. It's always glad to have you here, man. Anytime that you can come hop on and say hello or just have a little conversation with us, we're happy to see you always. What you got going on this weekend? Let us know if you're not too busy running the errands still.
No, yeah, let us know. It's always good. What do you have coming up? Do you have any PPW shows coming up?
Yeah, we do. We got the big December 10th show coming up. That'll be the last show we have for this year, and then nothing again booked until February. So December 10th, we've got that one announced. We're also doing a toy drive. So again, we're encouraging anybody that's attending the show to bring down toys that we're going to be giving out for those in need this year. So PPW trying to do a nice thing. So hopefully everybody will support that. And of course, then we're going to give you absolute brutality because one of the matches announced is going to be Colton Kelly and El Assassino. El Assassino, who cost Colton Kelly the opportunity to become the new Prairie Pro Wrestling champion at the last event. It seemed like Colton Kelly had the better of our champion, Sheik Akbar Shabazz, when all of a sudden El Assassino came out for the beatdown with the steel chair on Colton Kelly, leaving him laying out. So this grudge match is going to continue at the next show there, and hopefully Colton Kelly can continue his rise and maybe get that next opportunity against Akbar Shabazz down the road here.
Yeah. Awesome. I guess now steering back into the wrestling world that we've been talking about, not the local scene, but on Monday Night Raw, we did find out kind of more of a completion of the women's, one of the women's team, and that is Damage Control, as we will see Bailey, Io Sky, Kodak Kai, Nikki Cross, and now Rhea Ripley as one team. As on the other side, we have, if I can get this right, because I'm trying to remember just based on my memory here, we have Bianca Belair, we have Mia Yim, who joined, we have Alexa Bliss, and we have Asuka, and a fifth member still to be named. Needless to say, let the speculations exist now, because Survivor Series being in Boston, a lot of people could look at potentially Sasha Banks being that person. You could potentially see Candice LeRae come back, as she was previously attacked by Damage Control. But you can also see Becky Lynch, who could be coming back as well. Let's just put it out there. Who are we thinking is going to be the fifth member to Team Belair for War Games?
You also didn't mention Naomi could be a possibility as well, too. But I'm sure people would like it to be Sasha, but I really have my doubts that she sounds like she's any closer to coming back to the company at this point, unless they really want to throw curveballs and make you believe that so that the surprise becomes bigger. But how do you make that surprise big without saying the fifth person's being announced at Survivor Series, which is possible. We're a week away. We're exactly less than a week. We're 6 days away from the Survivor Series War Games. So again, they could leave it as the opponent will be a mystery opponent revealed at the Survivor Series. That would be the only thing that I think would drive the interest in this particular matchup that much more, because I feel like this one has less story build to it and less reasoning for them to have a War Games matchup than what the other one does. And I'm not saying that because it's the women. I feel like this is being done just so that both the women and the men get a War Games match, as where the other one, again, War Games makes sense for the Bloodline. The Bloodline's been dominating things for so long that it's time to get them in somewhere where they can't run, they can't hide, the violence can ensue. I understand the side of damage control, but the way they build damage control doesn't lead to me thinking that War Games is necessary just yet, anyway.
Yeah, especially when you're seeing the rivalry go between the Judgment Day and now the club. Early speculations thought that was going to be the second War Games match where you would have had female involvement in Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley, ironically enough, who became new members of the team. So it's very interesting to see that despite the fact that they're at each other's core in the Judgment Day OC feud, that they're still going to be at each other's core at War Games. So at least there's a correlation there. But I think you'd much rather have seen AJ Styles, the Good Brothers, Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor also get that opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the plan is there. But at that same time, I think I much rather would have actually preferred that to be that second War Games match. But at the same time, I'm not going to be upset with the opportunity provided for the women here. I think today's day and age, you kind of have to go that way. It's the smart play. You have a lot more female viewers in your watching your product now, so it's just as important to have the female involvement as well.
Oh, I 100% agree. I just feel like they've missed the mark in the way it's been booked to get to it for the War Games matchup itself. That's my only gripe with it. I don't say they don't deserve to have a women's War Games match. I just wish they would have done more to prepare for a women's War Games match to make it much more invested in said matchup. Where again, we want to see the Bloodline get their comeuppance. We want to see them get in there and get their asses handed to them for the first time in a long time, because they can't use outside interference. They can't cheat. They can't do their typical ways of, what a stable is used for. And that's having the strength in numbers. And now they don't have the strength in numbers. The numbers are not in their advantage because this is 5-on-5 locked inside those cages. And that's the way it's going to go down. I wish they would have pushed damage control in a more of an unbeatable way. And again, allowed maybe even the whole feud between Bayley and Bianca Belair to involve more actual wrestling matches, because now this is going to be said third time that they're involved with each other in gimmick matches back to back. And that's my only gripe. And I mean, I'm splitting hairs because again, this Survivor Series to me is already more exciting than anything that Vince has booked for the Survivor Series in over a decade at least. And the fact that you bring up the Judgment Day, the best part about that is I believe we're still going to get some traditional Survivor Series matchups. I mean, you can see the Judgment Day being involved in in an actual maybe a 3v3 Survivor Series matchup at this Saturday's pay-per-view or premium live event, as they like to say.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I thought maybe was better suited for the women here, was that traditional Survivor Series match. Given the fact that you had Nikki Cross and then the team of Bianca, Dakota, and Io, and you already had that 4, right? So you can go back to that traditional 4-on-4, and all you would have had was just, the team of Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca saying, oh, we got a 4th member here, but we, who is it, right? Like, they could be anybody. And then the Candice one makes so much sense given the fact that, the last time we thought we saw her, she was getting beaten down. We didn't actually see a beatdown, but, there you go. Or even Becky, who was kind of teased to be in that spot before she went away. But it almost seems like the Rhea and the Mia addition just seems a little forced, just to complete the 5-on-5. So it would have been nice maybe just having the one War Games match and you had more multiple Survivor Series traditional matches, maybe. But, you know, in the day of modern wrestling, if you're not overdoing it, you're just not doing enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. But either way, I mean, that's the key point is, though, is I am more interested in this Survivor Series premium live event than I have been in a Survivor Series for quite some time, which is sad because I used to love Survivor Series. I thought it was one of the better pay-per-views that the WWE used to do. It was one of the big original four. And I thought the tradition of where it was placed in the year and stuff was great. They used to build it up like this was the Thanksgiving wrestling show. Like that's the direction they used to go. And this time around, it almost is. I mean, it's only a couple of days removed from the U.S. Thanksgiving, which is a nice touch that they've done this year, is to have it so close to that time that they can kind of promote it that way. This is the Thanksgiving-based wrestling program. Well, I mean, MLW being on Thanksgiving should be, but in terms of a big scale one, the WWE's got that with the War Games this coming Saturday. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't know what you're up to this Saturday, Parrish, but I have a funny feeling we'll probably be watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's either I'll probably be hungover after the Love Show, but I'll be here watching, and that's a nice thing because in the past it's been 72 hours after. It's either 72 hours after Thanksgiving where we saw Survivor Series back where we kind of were watching the product growing up, or it was just a few days prior to it. It was like the last Sunday before the Thanksgiving. So the fact that it's only 48 hours after Thanksgiving for the United States this year just kind of brings you back to the way it used to be. So a little bit of nostalgic there, but at the same time, you're finally getting back to the way you enjoyed it, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how gimmicky they get with Thanksgiving. I know WWE in the past has gotten very gimmicky around these holidays. So hopefully they keep that part, kind of away and we get to focus a little bit more on the show. But yeah, it's going to be a great show nonetheless. What I do like is that we're seeing WWE already kind of putting out on their graphics that, like, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, they're already letting you know what the rules of War Games is. So by the time you get to that PLE, before you get to Survivor Series itself, it's not like people are being told the day of what the rules are, because not everybody will watch NXT. Not everybody are aware of what the rules were based when they were doing it in NXT. So there's going to be a lot of new fans that probably had no idea what the rules are. So this does help. And I think this is one little thing that they're doing very correctly moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a good time doing not a watch along, but a watch along that's not viewed live. But then afterwards, of course, we'll probably be hitting up some sort of reacts, reviews, what do we call them?
Pay-per-views, man.
Pay-per-reviews. Yeah, there we go. Even though you don't have to pay for them, the only thing you'll be paying is sitting through a couple of advertisements. But again,
you do have to pay. You got to pay attention.
That's right. Pay attention. I like
that.
But
you got to pay attention.
Yeah, but if you want to,
if you don't pay attention, you won't hear our review. So
that's right. But if you want to hear the full review ad free, all you got to do is give us a sub here on Twitch, and you can get rid of those annoying little ads that play every once in a while throughout the show.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to get your little bit of insight here. We had a new match be created.
Okay.
This week on NXT, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper, the main event, Mr. WrestleMania, created a new match that we're going to see on the deadline, which is the December 10th, I believe it's December 10th PLE for NXT, called the Iron Survivor match. Or Survivor, yeah. Anyway, it's kind of like a cross and a hybrid match of, say, Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber, King of the Mountain. So what you see is it's going to be, and there's going to be one for the men, one for the women. You're going to see 5 members in a 25-minute match. 2 people start every 5 minutes. Another one will enter. The order and the purpose of this match is to collect as many points as you can, and a point can be garnered by a pinfall, submission, disqualification, basically a fall. Now, if you're a member who gets pinned, submitted, or you get yourself DQ, you have to go into the penalty box for 2 minutes. So what you're doing is taking yourself away from the action for 2 minutes, so you're not able to collect any pinfalls or points. And the winner of this match will then receive a championship match to the respective gender championship down the road. So it's a very interesting concept because, yes, every 5 minutes somebody's going to come in. That's why I said it's kind of like a War Games kind of a War Games elimination chamber kind of mix because of the time intervals between entrants. But then what you're also getting is that King of the Mountain vibe with the penalty box. But at the same time, you're also getting kind of like an Iron Man scramble kind of a feel with the falls counting as a point, and you got to get the most points to win. So I think it's a great hybrid match when you think about every match that we've seen. But I'm also very curious on how these are going to play out. But I also love the fact that War Games not only is getting taken up to the main roster, but now we're seeing something new to be attached to NXT moving forward, which I thought was really cool.
And I like that. I like that there's something new. It seems like a lot. Like I want to see how it plays out first, because right now it sounds like a lot to take in. That's what she said. But I had to beat you to the punch on that one. It's quite a bit to follow along without seeing it unfold. And when you started mentioning it, because I hadn't quite heard it in full, I know you and Asher mentioned it on Taking Over, and I did kind of catch it on there, and I'd already kind of forgot how the rules set up for this thing. So now hearing again, I'm starting to follow along, and right away I'm starting to think King of the Mountain. There's a lot of King of the Mountain brought into this here matchup. But you are right; it does have an iron aspect to it. It also has that War Games aspect with the releasing of people every 5 minutes or so. I want to see how they play it out and where they take it, because I'm curious. I hope that it pans out well for them and that it's a new type of match that they can deliver now that War Games is up to the main roster, and something for NXT to be able to utilize, something that they've kind of come up with on their own that's a hybrid of other things that have existed before it.
Yeah, so very interested to see kind of not only how they play this, but who's also going to be involved. So I find this is a great match to have a Carmelo Hayes in to get that championship match. And I think it's a great way to just almost take him after a couple losses where he lost the North American Championship. He lost the ladder match to crown a new champion after Solo Sikoa was relinquished of the championship. And then most likely will not be successful against Wesley this coming Tuesday for that championship. But it'll be very much a great, okay, you win this match, boom, you're basically the uncrowned number one contender for the NXT championship. And I think, boom, right there, you're just taking every loss that Carmelo Hayes has and you're kind of washing it away because it doesn't matter now because he is that guy in place. However, we just don't know. We don't know if he's even in it. We don't know who's in it, but it's a great way to just say, hey, look, I'm on this little bit of a rocky road, but boom, now you're on the pathway to the prize. And that could be a very, simple 360 for someone's career.
Yeah. And again, it's giving NXT a new voice altogether. It's something that people are going to tune into to see how it plays out. I think it's only going to do good things for NXT moving forward, and hopefully we'll get to see some people really shine within this matchup and get to find out. Again, for anybody who doesn't get the chance to watch along on a weekly basis, they can find out all the build-up and how they get to there by joining yourself and Asher on the Tuesday night for Taking Over.
Yeah. I can't wait because this is another great episode of NXT that I can't wait for. But also at the same time, the fact that they're still innovating and creating a new concept, I think makes me appreciate the fact that we're still in a position to see something new in the world of pro wrestling. And I'm very much happy that, it's not just old and boring and predictable anymore, that they're still trying. Very excited to see.
Yeah, lots of great things happening in WWE. That's what it boils down to, and it's exciting because I know so many people were looking for WWE to crumble or fail because they didn't like the way things were going with Vince. I never want anybody to crumble or fail. I always really want wrestling to succeed. So if one's doing better, I hope the other one is too, and then the next one and the next one, because then everybody wins. What doesn't matter what your flavor is, you all win. Hello, Astrid, from work as well too, and also to Carl, who just gave some of the emotes, those great emotes that you can find here on our channel. All you got to do is throw us a sub, and that's going to unlock that stuff for you guys to make your experience here on our local establishment that much more wild. And I believe we just recently uploaded one for Busting Out that should be approved very soon, so you'll be able to get the Busting Out logo as part of your emote collection when you sub to the our local establishment Twitch page.
Yeah, so don't feel restricted with your emotes. Be prepared to bust out with the Busting Out logo coming soon to the emote section here at our local establishment.
You need to get like a Busting Out shirt or like a jersey, almost like a Busting Out jersey of some sort. I think that would be cool.
We should just get Busting Out condoms, all right? Because if there's one that's bust out, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but that might give the wrong impression about the durability of said condom there too.
Okay, but then again, you got the condom for the boys. How about the Busting Out bras for the women? All right, we can all bust out together.
There you go.
And it's a little bit of it. Awesome. And this is probably where Astrid's like, I'm going back to work.
Yeah. Fuck these guys, I'm done.
Yeah, no. So I mean, we're working on it. I mean, we're definitely working on merchandise. So people don't worry. These things are in the Photoshop productions. So, well, I might have just created a new term there. But yeah, trust us. When you're as dumb as I am and you're saying stupid things and you can roll with it, we're always thinking, even if we're not trying, we're thinking.
If you throw 100 things against the wall, one of them's bound to stick.
Yeah. Well, and that's just
hey, I like that. I like this thing right here. Busting Out deodorant for the toughest.
Oh, dear Lord.
You want to get rid of your Sunday stink? Try your new stick of BO deodorant.
Oh man. Hopefully it doesn't smell like shit. That'd be the worst deodorant. So it's like, oh man, I went to the gym. I don't smell good. I'm gonna put this. Oh my god, no.
We'll just make it a fragrance. It's like the smell of what wrestlers smell like after a nice long hard match or something like
this.
That.
This is true because fans will buy anything.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know where to go to this, so I might as well say, hey, Bobby, if you don't have any more topics, we should probably tell everybody where they can find us on the socials. And then if people wanted to know, hey, are you guys going to raid somebody? Yeah, we're going to raid our good friend over at Heel Kevin because he's just been so supportive of us lately. We're going to throw support right back his way. So, Bobby, unless you have any more topics.
I've got nothing else, but make sure to say a good old hello, Ole, to our good friend Heel Kevin. That guy is phenomenal. He has a great channel over there. Make sure to follow over at his show as well too. But as for where you can find me, check out the ticker down below. You can check out my personal Twitch as well as my stuff over on Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, Instagram, Video Bros SK. But you can catch Thursday nights myself and Pop Smoke bringing you all the MLW Fusion talk on our show Fusion this Thursday night. Because Fusion is on Thanksgiving, join us for that very special episode. Double title matches. The MLW Featherweight Championship is on the line, as well as the MLW World Heavyweight Championship in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. If you want to join us on screen or in the chat, we're going to be having a good old party. So grab your turkey leg for all our friends in the U.S. and grab your beer or whatever your poison is and come in and just have a good old rock and roll time with the Video Bros. Outside of that, you're going to be able to catch me Sunday for another edition of Bustin' Out, of course. And just hopefully some other good things might pop up. I might do a little bit of soccer talk. I have thought about it for a while. I might do that with the World Cup firmly in place and now released. I might bring some of my coaching skills to the table and do a little conversation about the World Cup.
Well,
and Parrish.
Say that like if you call that footy talk, that'd be amazing. Because it'd be head and shoulders better than any other show I know. But yeah, you can follow me on all the socials as you see down below. You can follow me on the Twitter at Chris Parrish, the Instagram at Chris.Parrish, the Twitch, as some of you already did, the Chris Parrish. But also, as you don't see on here, you can also follow my YouTube at Chris Parrish, and make sure you get that at logo, Chris Parrish, and that's where you can follow me. I will eventually add it to that ticker. It's not that difficult. I'm just lazy. So, hey, a lot of times I didn't even stream on my Twitch, but people still found a way to support. So maybe I just got to go with that model with my YouTube. But yeah, so anyway, I think this is a great time now to officially raid Heel Kevin.
Let's get on over there.
So yeah, in a little bit of time, I'll say about maybe 10 seconds, you'll be kind of going to Heel Kevin. So make sure you show him the love, support as you have to us. That is what we call the OLE way. So make sure you say hi to Heel Kevin. And yeah, for everybody watching here on the YouTube, we just want to say thank you for staying with us, saying, talking some pro wrestling of this week. So with that being said, with the last gulp of the episode, we just want to say thank you. And you have been busted by the Brunch Busters. Why? Because busting makes us feel good.